What are the biggest emotional and financial challenges seniors face when deciding whether to sell their house? You know, you want to make them feel safe and confident and not overwhelmed. Like, how do you help seniors with that? So Julie Cosgrove is a senior real estate specialist. She's certified in it. And so because I do reverse mortgage, I thought it was really important to talk to a real estate agent who specializes in helping seniors. And she's the next level of it, as well as she has an organizing company that helps seniors get organized and move and all the things that go with it. And it's called One Simple Solution. So I'm really excited to have you, Julie.
Thank you.
I think you bring a lot of value into this space of helping seniors, and I think it's super important. So I'm glad you're here.
Thanks. Yeah.
Do you want to do a little bit of an intro too? I think that'd be great.
Yeah. So I've been in real estate for 43 years. I hate saying that because it really ages me.
Well, you're an expert.
Yeah.
She's an expert.
So as I grew older in this business, so did my clientele. So I knew that I needed to bring a different level of real estate to my clients. So that's how I got into the downsizing part and helping seniors. And quite honestly, I was just telling somebody yesterday that this has been, out of all of the years I've been in real estate, this has been my most rewarding. And I've been doing this for like the last 10 years.
Oh, I love
and
that.
I do. I love helping seniors.
Yeah.
And it's very rewarding.
Okay, so you're the head of the Cosgrove team at Keller Williams Realty. And do you want to talk about the area that you work in? That would be helpful, I think, for our viewers.
I cover San Joaquin County and Stanislaus County, and we've just done a couple jobs in Contra Costa County as well as Sacramento County. So those are the areas that I've been covering, but we are definitely expanding. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
If I don't cover your area, then I find somebody that does what I do in an area. So
perfect.
I would say to reach out to me, and I could still find somebody who does what I do.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. All right. Let's get into it. I just have a few questions for you, if that's
Go
okay.
ahead.
All right. And I wrote them down, so I'm gonna read them.
Okay.
Okay. So what are the biggest emotional and financial challenges seniors face when deciding whether to sell their house? You know, you want to make them feel safe and confident and not overwhelmed. Like, how do you help seniors with that?
Everything that you just said is, really right on target, especially the overwhelmed part. Because I would say most of my clients have lived in their houses 30 to 50 to 60 years.
Yeah.
And so the things that we accumulate in all of those years. And so I do seminars on downsizing. And the biggest challenge that they have is, what am I going to do with all my stuff? Mm-hmm. And then the next challenge would be to depart from that stuff. I mean, we all love our dishes. We love the things that we've accumulated over the years, and it's still very difficult. The seniors they have a hard time understanding that this does not want to be handed down to their kids. It's a new generation. They don't use china. They don't use all the glassware that we used to use growing up and even today. So I would think that that's probably the biggest challenge. The next challenge would be they really, a lot of them don't want to leave their homes.
Yeah.
It scares them. At that age, moving is probably one of the most difficult things we'll ever do in the first place. But when you're talking to a senior and the thought for them to have to move, they're afraid, are they going to make new friends? Are they going to be close to a church still? How are they going to shop? So all of those things really run into their minds, and I think it's a fear factor for them.
Yeah. Oh, that makes me sad a little bit, but I think you're so right that this is where they've been most of their lives, and it is scary to me.
Well, and they raise their kids. Like you and I were talking
all
a few minutes ago, you had
memories,
Thanksgiving here at your home, and you they had all those Thanksgiving dinners. They had all those Christmases.
How does One Simple Solutions help with the stuff?
Like I said, grew older in this business. I met a gentleman that was with Keller Williams in Hawaii, and he had a downsizing company, and I went to a convention. And I pretty much chased him down because I was so excited about everything he does. So with One Simple Solution, we help from beginning to end. We will sit down with you, go over a whole plan. If you don't already know where you're going to move, then we help you figure out that next process, and there's a lot that goes into that as well, and we can talk about that a little bit more. But we'll sit down and we'll explain to them that we will hold their hand from beginning to the end. Mm-hmm. And that means from packing them up unpacking them, having an estate sale, selling their cars if they have to, or a
Oh,
estate
wow.
company. So it really is like a one-stop shop for them. They don't have to go
Figure
much
out the yard sale and
Yeah, they
figure
don't-
out how to sell the car. And,
and
yeah,
the family
interesting.
for the most of the time. A lot of our clients, their kids have moved on and don't even live in the area. I've got a couple clients like that right now that we're working with, and we will help them if they decide that that's the area they want to go. If they want to go to where their kids are, we'll help them facilitate that too. So we've
Okay.
got the moving company we work with, so it's from beginning to end.
Yeah. Do you help when they move into the assisted living communities to like set their room up and stuff? Like,
Absolutely.
do you do that? Yeah, I love that.
So if they are going to move into not even just assisted living, if they're going to move into a community, I've worked with all the communities around here, and so we've got all their floor plans, so we know
Oh, nice.
what they're going to move into. So
How
we
much space?
actually floor plan the whole thing for them. And obviously, we have clients who say they want to take their china cabinet or take some of their bigger furniture. Well, I've got a great team who's been trained to talk them down from what they really want to
sure.
what they need.
Yeah,
And that's really difficult a lot of times. But I have a great team that has been experienced in doing that. So they'll talk them down, and then yes, we floor plan for them and we measure everything up, and by the time they move into their new location, One Simple Solution has them unpacked that day.
Okay. I love that. So they feel comfortable and this is familiar, and it might be scary a little
Right.
bit still, but there's enough comforts of home. So that's
Yeah.
so good. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. How do you navigate situations where adult children or family members are involved in the decision-making process?
Very often it's the family members that'll call me. If it's one of the seniors that maybe has attended one of our seminars, and then I meet with them, that's the first thing I ask them, if family members are going to be involved. It makes me feel so much more comfortable when I know that they have a family member, one of their adult children, are going to be involved, not in the process, but in helping with the decision making.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it's a lot to take on. So when they are thinking about doing all of this, if they don't have children, then maybe a friend or somebody else there. So we're not the only ones making that decision for them. I work very closely with the family if I can.
Okay.
So,
I love that. Yeah.
And you know what the other thing is there's nothing better. I always think about, for me, with if it were my parents, I would want to know my parents are being taken
Yes.
care of.
Yeah.
And I would be asking those people that are going to be working with my parents a million questions,
Right.
and because they need to feel that comfort too, that their parents aren't being taken advantage of, and that they know they're okay, because they might live out of state.
Right.
And
yeah.
a lot of our clients do. So
Yeah. No, that's true. That makes a lot of sense. What mistakes do you see seniors make most often when selling, and how can they avoid those mistakes?
I think one of the big mistakes is, first of all, that they don't make the decision to do it. So a lot of them have to be talked into it, and they're really afraid to make that decision. So that's probably the biggest mistake, is that they don't make the decision to do it. But when they're selling their house, and it just depends on the house, and I do a consultation with them as a realtor. So I'm putting on my realtor hat now and talking about that part. I will ask them questions. If I would say probably 98% of my clients don't owe anything on their houses anymore. I ask them if they have accountants that they work with. I ask them if they have attorneys that they work with, because it's important that to know if their house is in a trust or been put into a trust, how much equity they're going to have, and if there's going to be tax implications. So just knowing those things. So I wouldn't call it mistakes that they make, but they just thought they were going to maybe get all the funds from their house, when in fact they might owe some taxes on that.
Right.
So I take them through that whole process just to make sure that they understand. And I don't give them tax advice. I make sure that they have an accountant or somebody else who can give them that tax advice, and then I'll work closely with that accountant or that financial advisor. So I've worked with a lot of financial advisors where I make sure that their monies are transferred into their financial with their building up. So
I love that. I feel like because you have that certification, that senior real estate certification, I'm assuming that some of the training in that is around this, because there's definitely real estate transactions where it's just like we talked about earlier, the the idea of it is we're just going to close in 30 days, but this is so much more complex.
Well, and that's
just
why
a regular transaction, I guess.
Absolutely, and that's why I've built my company around being literally a one-stop shop. However, I do work with other realtors and with our company, One Simple Solution, where we're helping their clients because I think, my goal is just to make sure seniors are taken care of. And so if we're working with another realtor, we definitely have to educate them because most people want their real estate transaction, closed in 30 days. I want mine closed in 30 days. It makes it really nice, quick close, and there we are. But I would say probably with my seniors, if they're living in the property still, that doesn't happen. And it usually could be 60, 90, 120 days sometimes.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of moving parts that go into it.
There's moving parts, and I will say they're slow. They make decisions slower.
Exactly.
They, in the reverse mortgage space, sometimes it's hard to make these decisions. And I've had people 3 years later. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
It takes a long time to really think about it and process it and decide, get to the point where they need to decide, this is what we need to do. Because sometimes they're in denial a little bit about it, or somebody's spouse is getting sick, or they keep getting sicker. There's a lot that happens that it can take a while.
Well, that takes us back to, why I try and tell seniors to do it now instead of later. I mean, one of the things I talk about in my seminar is that you don't want that decision to be made for you because you have to, because you've fallen or you've become a caregiver for your significant other. Because what happens when the seniors become caregivers for their significant other, they end up going downhill really quickly because it's so much work, and that I see that a lot. So I try and tell them, let's make this plan.
Let's do it while you're healthy and
can enjoy it still.
Yeah, and enjoy it. I like that. Yeah, it's kind of like when you have to move and you fix your house up to move, and you're like, dang it, why didn't we do this sooner?
Yeah. I've had clients, as a matter of fact, I had a client call me yesterday, and I've been talking to this lady for 5 years, and we've just become friends, and she's referred me people, but she's had the hardest time making this move. We started out looking for homes for her, and her husband has passed away this last year, and now she's going to move into a community closer to her kids, which is down south. But we've stayed in touch for 5 years, and she's just referred me people, but she's never been able to make that decision herself.
Yeah. So it's hard. Yeah, and now that her husband's gone, there's more moving parts and being close to your family. And do you find that people are selling and moving into communities or downsizing? What do you see most happening?
I would say probably at least 90% of my clients are moving into communities. So part of what we do is we can help, find the community that's going to fit their needs because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of nice ones around.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
some of them
are
are
like resorts.
Yeah, I know. Some of them are like, wow, I feel like I'm in Tahoe right now.
Right? Yeah, you don't want to leave. They have salted. What are they called?
Just all of it.
The pools and the
hair
bars
salons
and the hair salons.
art studios.
Right. Yeah. No, they really have turned some of these communities into resorts.
Yeah.
But I will work with the client and find out what their financial information is, and then I have a placement people that I help go out and look for what's going to fit their needs.
Yeah.
So they're not going if they can't financially afford the nicer one, with all of those things we just talked about. There's other ones that are nice as well, but financially they might fit their needs better. So I don't send them off to the real nice ones so they can get excited and then
Yeah, that's a good point. You don't want to get
right.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
But I would say, and then if that's not where they need to go, if they're not going to go either to assisted living or those kind of accommodations, it might be like a Del Webb or a 55 older community that they would go to, and that's when they would still purchase a house, but they're just downsizing from maybe 3,000 square feet to 1,600 to 1,700 square feet.
Right.
So we do.
And those
have
are really nice too. I think
we've got some really nice ones around here right now.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, there's a nice one in Tracy. Oh my
gosh. Just gonna say Tracy's just built up this beautiful one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got a couple coming in Lathrop there, and and in Manteca they've got some nice ones. Yeah, so there are some really nice ones like that as well. So, we just got to. It's all part of the interview process with them, and just taking your time with them.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, what services or support should seniors look for in an agent that many people don't realize they need?
I really think if they're trying to do this senior move and downsizing and everything, find a senior certified real estate specialist, because most likely they've aligned themselves with a downsizing company like our company, One Simple Solution. They've aligned themselves with trust attorneys. They've aligned themselves with the financial advisors.
Right.
And if the client doesn't have all those things in place already, they can direct them. Whereas just being a real estate agent, they don't necessarily know all of the different aspects that are going to go on. They don't take into consideration, or it could take, 2 months before you can get in an estate sale on the books.
Right,
for the estate
right.
companies. And
Yeah,
so
there's enough nuance to it that having that specialist
Yeah.
is really
and
a
they
big deal.
built their careers around
Yeah.
making sure that they can help you.
Do people pay extra for the specialist?
No.
Okay. I think that's good to know.
Yeah,
it's really
no,
important.
absolutely.
So it's not like you're paying extra for something that you just happen to be a specialist at it. So
exactly.
I love it. Yeah. Well, I encourage anybody who's thinking about moving their parents, right? Sometimes we are connecting with their adult children first.
Correct.
If you're needing to help your parents move, or if you are a senior wanting to move, I think that Julie is a great resource for you. And you should definitely reach out. We'll put her information in the captions of the video. And thank you so much
Great.
for doing this.
Thank
It's
you.
great.
I love talking about this. Obviously, I can go on and on.
Yeah,
So
I love it.
thanks. And just free consultations. So just let me know, and I'll be happy to help anybody I can.
Okay, very cool.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Julie.